Welcome to SML Total Access, where we break down news, predictions, and more in our Madden League. Now, let's get fired up for SML football.
Hello and welcome to the award-winning, the greatest show in CFM Madden community. I'm Primetime 000, joined by Matt and Dan. How's it going, fellas?
Good. Voted best show.
It's going to be a good show.
We were voted best show, right?
Voted best show in the SML honors.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about that one.
Oh, yeah. Let's start off. Madden 26 is out. What's your guys' first impressions? I always screw this up. Matt, you go first.
Oh boy, this is probably a bad topic for me. I think I played 3 games and one was against KP and he had like 4-minute quarters. It took like 20 minutes to play the game. But real quick, really small sample size impressions. Things I like, the animations seem better. I don't see the whole boom tech guys glitching out and getting knocked back a million times. And honestly, maybe there's, again, in a small sample size, there's 2 things I think that solve a lot of Madden's problems, because we give EA a lot of grief, but there's 22 players on the field at once. You're controlling one of them. That means they have to have 21 AI players doing the right thing, and that's difficult. But I think QBs and their accuracy being different, I have noticed that. Of course, I have mostly used bad quarterbacks, Sam Darnold, Trevor Lawrence, and what I've noticed is they miss passes, and also I've seen this a lot with bad quarterbacks. They make receivers jump, so even if the pass is on target and catchable, the receiver has to jump, which might happen a little too often, but it slows their momentum and kind of a little bit different than the good quarterbacks. But also the pass rush. A really good pass rush hides a lot of the faults, and honestly, that's true in real life. If you don't have a good pass rush, it doesn't matter if you could have Darrelle Revis and all the good corners that have ever existed, Bailey, you could have them all, and if you can't rush the passer, you can't cover forever. So I think those 2 things really can hide the flaws of Madden, especially the pass rush, making the defense a little bit easier. Things I don't like, and we knew it was coming, running quarterbacks are a problem. Not only can they get outside the pocket like they all have escape artist, but those giant holes up the middle where you can make one read and take off are still there. So that's a real worrisome part for me.
Dan, what do you
think? I want to agree with Matt on the quarterbacks. I think they did a good job. It's a little bit more like NCAA. I think last year was that way, which I like. Not every throw is going to be, 10 out of 10 on the dot, which is great. I also noticed that it seems like defenders close out on running back passes, drags, even some outside runs really fast. So they look open, they catch them, and then they get 3 yards. And if that's the case, that's going to be awesome, because that way you're going to have to force the offense to make some other plays than just dink and dunk and dump offs. So I think that's great. Pass rush seems to be a really good spot. I haven't got enough into the coverages and the defensive side of the ball yet, so I still got questions there, and I'm not sure how everything's going to function and work. A bunch of new plays, which is great. It's always good. The run game seems pretty tough right now, but I guess that'll change as time goes on. I'm just probably most of all surprised that the online reaction is by far the most positive I've ever seen for Madden.
Yep.
And that is great. I hope they don't tweak it too much over the next few patches, but they are off to a great spot. And hey, we got to, as much as we give them crap, I think we got to give them a lot of credit. It is not the perfect game, but it is a much improved game.
I feel like this game has rode the momentum of the last couple Maddens, which has been, the game has been slowly getting better year over year for the last 3 to 4 Maddens, in my opinion now. To me, I feel like it's one of the biggest jumps they've had from cycle to cycle in a long time when it comes to presentation in the game. The little goofy things, the team introductions, the mascots, the different scoreboards for Monday night, Thursday night, whatever it is. A lot of presentation stuff they've added. Trying to keep up, I think, with college football. They're not quite there yet with the presentation, but still a big jump. I didn't think that last year was going to be a big jump because they added the new college football game. So I was thinking this year would be a little bit better, and it is. For me, I like the quarterbacks miss throws, and on missed throws, you can still hit a guy, and like Matt said, it just slows them down. Another thing I was thinking about, like Dan hinted at or talked about, I mean, you have defensive stunts, and you can tell your defensive players to do stunts and create pressure that way. Safety with, you can commit to, if you're in man coverage, you can commit an individual defender to a certain route. So if you're playing a guy who has the out route or runs a lot of zigs, you can tell that guy to just literally, it's going to be an outside route and he will lock it down. Those things are really cool. The only thing, or excuse me, another thing that they added a lot to is franchise mode. I wish they wouldn't have taken out owner mode, but they have coach mode, and it feels like a complete RPG role-playing game with all the options they have there. Almost overwhelming, but again, they added stuff. They're trying. The effort is there. I didn't watch the full interview, but I don't know if you guys watched it or not with Ian Cummings. He's a former Madden creative director before Clint Oldenburg got in, and he was like, he really shed an interesting view on what that job is like, being the creative director and the options and decisions they have to make. And I've always felt it, but he said, hey, you know, some years you always have to have a box feature, like, you know, and the devs don't really care about having the marketing feature on the back of the box, but the soup coat guys do. So you've seen Boomstick last year, but there's no, I don't know, it doesn't even say Boomstick this year. I mean, you think about those things that get added to the game that the devs just have to put their time into because the soup coats want certain things. So sometimes I see comments about people saying the devs don't want it, blah, blah, blah. Like these guys have to do certain things to appease their bosses. And overall, I think it's a good game. I hope the companion app comes out soon so it doesn't impact our cycle. But overall, I feel good about Madden so far.
Yeah, I'll add that I really like, last cycle, I feel like everybody caught everything. I'm seeing a lot more drops in the few games that I've played, especially on contested catches, and especially from running backs. Running backs with, they don't have great catching, so they drop it. I'll have to play Stavo to get a little bit more sample size, but running backs drop a lot of passes.
The other thing I'll add, we got to remember, we're going from straight up 99 overall players on all of our teams back to regular teams. Like we all had stacked teams at the end of every cycle. So that's an adjustment in itself in Madden, in my opinion, that often gets forgotten about. But let's move on now. Have you noticed anybody just hitting the sticks hard that you think will have a rebound this cycle, or not even just a rebound, that might just be a great player this cycle, that you've maybe been on Madden and you've seen them online scrimmaging, stuff like that? Dan, I'll go with you.
Yeah, this is a tough question for me because I just don't scrimmage much. I do one or two after I spend a lot of time building my playbook, and so I've only really scrimmaged two guys so far in the SML, so I don't really notice too much. I try to stay quiet in the main chat during this time because you can only handle so much of whose team's taking this team, and this is what's figuring out. I will say, I think the guys that I'm most intrigued by, though, are the guys that I think put time in and are going to get a crack at their team from the get. So guys like Grimm and Soda, I think Not Nice and Smokey, these guys talk a big game as far as what they know or don't know. They talk about playing. I see MMX asking for scrimmages quite a bit. So I'm just curious, if that's going to make a big difference. I know for me, it made a huge difference from the first time I came in SML. Just getting a team that was given to me, and then I only had 3 seasons to do something with them. And then once I got my first team, I could go from the jump. So I think that's more the stuff that I'm curious with these guys than I am necessarily about the scrimmages.
Matt?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the guys who play a lot before the season starts and even play during the cycle are the same guys. Like Paulie. Paulie, I think, generally puts in a lot of time before the cycle just to find out. I mean, he even said on The Truth he took the Giants because he knew QB didn't matter. He did enough scrimmaging before the cycle that he knew quarterback didn't matter, and the Giants were really good, except for at quarterback. So, I'm looking at someone like Soda, who, had a really great cycle, probably maybe the best cycle for someone who didn't win a Simbardi, making the Super Bowl twice. And, he's put in probably north of 40 hours by now. And it doesn't sound like it's been a lot of in-game action, but he's really going through and just simulating. He was even streaming I think a jet simulation yesterday. Where he's going through the franchise and simulating how these teams look after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. I think that's really that's really good. It makes, he's going to have a lot of options when he gets to the team, and making sure that he doesn't do what I did last year. I was set on the Ravens pretty much from the start. Knew they were in bad cap space, but was like, oh, it's Madden. It's bad cap. It's never really a problem. It actually was, and I certainly didn't know that going in. So, not that would have changed anything, but I would have been better prepared. I kind of had to do things on the fly as they came up. So, I look at Soda and Paulie as two guys that I think are hitting it hard, and depending on where they end up, Soda was in a weak NFC. If he goes to the Jets like he's talking, if the three big dogs, two of them in here, and then Bomber, if you all go AFC, as I think most people are expecting, is Soda in that? Can he get through that gauntlet? I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's good. For me, I was just looking through the list of names, and I've got to go the Mad Bomber. I've been watching him. He does this every year. He kind of preps this time. He gets his hours in. I actually do the same. I actually play more Madden in a 2 to 3 week span than I typically do for like the next month after that, after we start up and get going. But, as I look at Bomber, it looks like he's probably going to take the Browns, is what the rumor is. He's been posting about it in chat. He knows what team he's taken. He's been scrimmaging guys. He looks good in his scrimmages. It's been a while since Bomber's made his Super Bowl run, and he's hitting it hard. He seems to just be confident in this Browns team. They're young. They have some holes here and there, and they're signing guys still. I just watch out for Bomber this cycle is all I'm saying. A guy with his favorite team is dangerous. Let's move on now. Team draft prediction. Not necessarily looking for mock drafts. Just looking for, is there a team that you have pinned as somebody that you think is just a great fit, or is there somebody that you think could completely just shape the draft with one pick, or somebody that you think is the line of hey, this is where the draft's going to get interesting, just something like that. Matt, we'll start with you.
Yeah. Obviously, I think you hold all the cards, Prime. If you go NFC, I think it opens up the AFC to a lot of people who wouldn't have gone there otherwise. It obviously changes everything, right? Because then everybody's just got you locked as the Colts. I remember when you took the Chiefs, everybody was like, I think Meats even said, okay, you're joking. And it took a second for us all to realize you weren't. And now everyone's scrambling because their list had you as the Colts, and they maybe based something off of that. I've been looking at just the draft and looking at the teams and looking in chat. I have a perfect fit for someone who needs a perfect fit. Mm-hmm. It is the Smile himself, Straw Blacks. And if he gets the Cincinnati Bengals, he's making the Super Bowl, and he might even win one. I don't care if Dan is the Steelers and Bomber's the Browns and you're the Colts. If Straw Blacks, he's rejuvenated. He's been in chat. He went to the meetup. He's been playing the game. He might have been a good answer for the previous question. He would have been a great answer. If he gets those Bengals, he is a gunslinger. And if he gets the Bengals with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Higgins, and that defense, they've got Miles Murphy, who they drafted a season or two ago, 88 speed. They just drafted this rookie in the first round, pass rusher. He's fast. Hidden Dev. They got their pass rushers for the cycle, whether Hendrickson's traded or not. And so that's my perfect fit right there. There is no better fit. I like Damon as the Texans. I think going after you is going to make him better, and he's gone through the gauntlet before. I really like him as the Texans. But Straw as the Bengals is a Simbardi champion in Madden 26.
Man, I just don't like Straw at all. I lost a lot of respect for him at the meetup, but I'll save my thoughts. Dan, you go ahead.
Yeah, I'm more interested on kind of the narrative of who's gonna step up and face competition, and who's gonna kind of duck and cower out. So I think what you're seeing is there are, let's just say, probably 28 to 30 good Madden teams. There might be two really bad ones. And even that, after a while, again, as SML, we know we play 9 seasons. Everyone can turn any season around. So I think after so many teams, everyone's going to start looking division and conference, and we're going to find out whether or not some people, hey, they like to run and hide, and they want to dev their team up and get all the breakouts and win all the awards and try to coast, or no, they want to go right into the fire. They want to play the best and be the best and get better as they play. So to me, that's going to be the most interesting storyline. Once we get past, oh man, I would say probably 8, 9, 10 range. I think the remaining 20 plus teams right there is going to be all people hunting divisions, conferences, even more so than teams.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm specifically curious what Stavo does. Remember, he got dogged last year for taking a
Yep.
crappy division. As I look at the
Yep.
team draft, I feel like the draft really, really, really begins at pick 7. I got the Meats enters the draft, and he has an opportunity to do something really funny, in my opinion. Or not funny, maybe dangerous. He has a chance. I think they'll still be there at number 7 to take the Baltimore Ravens, his hometown team, hometown Ravens. And if he does that, he'll be in Bomber's division. Him and Bomber hate each other. They hate each other. And Meats with a scrambling quarterback. He's been known. He hasn't done it lately, but back in the day, for those who know SML lore, Meats was dangerous with the scrambling quarterback. So for him and Bomber to go at each other for a whole cycle, I don't know how that would go, but that would be a draft day moment right there. Meats taking the Ravens. Obviously, the straw thing. I was looking at straw. I'm not sure if there's a way the Eagles fall to him or not. They're such a good team. You know, he's picking at 17. I just can't see it happening. I think that's a one to watch. And then obviously for me, it's young Hurts. Does young Hurts have the gonads to join the AFC South and play the greatest of all time, you know, twice this season at least? You know, we'll see. We'll just have to see. Let's move on to our last topic. Number 4, contract and ability rule changes. We've just did it. We announced them within the last 2 days or so. Dan, what do you think about them?
Yeah, I love them, man. I mean, they're the best written rules, best things I've ever seen you ever done, Prime.
Thank you.
Congratulations on putting together 2 really amazing rules. Here's the thing about them that I think that's what makes them so great is that we want to play in a sim league. We realize there's some limitations. They give us all these abilities. Some of them are a little more powered than others. Some of them feel a little bit more arcadish, but nothing feels more arcadish than being able to see something magically that no NFL player would ever be able to see in their play art or be able to see in who the user is. And so I think taking those out just from the get, and with the disclaimer, if they add anything else that's similar to that, we're going to take that out too, because there's no counter to it. It was stupid. It was a huge advantage. And again, I don't care what anyone wants to say. I don't care how much they bicker. Matt and I could prove all it by the end of the last season. 75 to 90% of the final teams in the playoffs all had omniscient. So it's just overpowered. It was just needed to go. The contract thing, I've been banging this thing for years. I always felt it was not sim to sign a young guy to a long-term contract. No one in the NFL is going to do that. There's no holdouts. There's no, I played over my contract. So you sign a guy who's maybe 22, 23, he's 70 overall. He's got great physicals, and you just pour every dev into him and he hits some devs and takes off. And all of a sudden he's an X factor at 90 and you're paying him $2 million a year. It's just a stupid idea. It's a stupid thought. We shouldn't do it. I would also say you shouldn't try to sign guys in free agency just because you can do it in bidding, but we won't get to that for now. We're just sticking with this one, black and white. Don't add more than a year or minus a year to the contract. Keep it as simple as you can, and actually let them play out, and then ask for the money that they deserve when they actually get to that level. So I think they just make perfect sense, and I think they're great rules.
Yeah, I agree. I will say off the jump though, sometimes I know there are certain things in the game that during this middle of a cycle you have to jump in and make a call. I think the ratio rule might have been one that got changed in the middle of a cycle where it went from this objectivity to a hard line, and it got altered. But omniscient probably should have been banned last cycle when it was discovered how good it was. But I like that we didn't do it, even though I was a proponent of it, because guys had spent money on it, etc. So I like that. Let it play out, take the step back during the offseason, make the decision before people start drafting teams, especially based on it. But I'm all for it. I love, and this isn't a target of omniscient. I mean, it's the big one because it was always active. It was a passive ability. Lots of guys had it. People paid money for it, whether it was in free agency or through trades. But stuff like Mind Reader, yeah, it was hard to activate. But if you did, you got to see the entire play art. Omaha, I know we haven't seen that in a while, but you get to see the entire defense's play art. I'm sorry, that's just not realistic. And we don't need it in the game. There's no counter to it. And so I'm just not a fan. And then the contracts, yeah. I mean, look, we play a long time. If you happen to be able to get a bunch of guys on these 7-year deals, and then we saw it last year with the high priced quarterbacks, right? Where some, like, I don't know how Madden does it, but like a 94 overall quarterback in season 4 is getting paid chump change compared to Anthony Richardson, who's getting 80 million, and Lamar was getting 70 million for me. And it totally changes the balance of the cycle. So not saying that anybody did that with a 7-year, young quarterback, but that potential is there, and it can really, really change things. And in my opinion, it's like restructuring later in the season where you're restructuring years that don't technically exist. I think it's taking advantage of the game, so I'm glad to see it gone.
Yeah, for me, when it comes to writing rules, and obviously you guys explain those rules very well, so I won't hit on those too much, but just more so just from a 30,000 foot view on coming up with rules for a league. I think it was somebody shared in chat after we put the rules out, like, hey, what if we're going to add a contract rule, then why don't we add you should have to pay a fair value for quarterbacks or a fair value for running backs, and to me, when we write rules, they have to be simple, they have to be repeatable, and they have to be easily enforced. If you can't do those things, then just don't even bring it to me, because in my opinion, we've got more rules than I even want to have at this point. But the other reality is that the game's ever evolving. We have to evolve, and also people's creativity and how to build their teams and creativity on how to continue to get a competitive edge is always evolving. So we have to write these rules. For me, less rules the better, but it just kind of is what it is at this point. I'm kind of historically slow to add rules or to change rules or to add complex rules, just because I like to keep it simple. And if you can't keep a rule within 1 to 2 sentences long, typically it's just not going to work for me. So I'm happy with these rules. I think it makes sense. I think it's realistic. I think it helps. At the end of the day, we're trying to solve a problem of guys manipulating contracts to build super teams, because that doesn't happen in real life. The players don't sign contracts like that, so we're just trying to make sure they don't happen in the game. That's all we're trying to solve there. So we'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, this isn't going to be the last time we have to write a rule because something's come up or there's a new challenge, but we'll just try to take it slowly. And we do put a lot of brain power into something where we don't get paid on. So I appreciate the guys who have helped me kind of write these rules and think about these things, because it's a big deal. The SML is still growing somehow, and we're getting bigger and bigger, and we want to make sure we get this right for you guys and try to make it as enjoyable as possible, because at the end of the day, it's not fair when some guys play by a standard of integrity and then other guys maybe play just with the competitive edge because it's not against the rules. So we're trying to level the playing field for those who just try to play with integrity. So that was a mouthful. Yeah. Go ahead, Matt. Do you have anything?
Don't forget, there is a disclaimer in the official rule book that says that the admin team has the ability to, just the whole, because sometimes when someone breaks a rule, they say, well, it's not written down anywhere. No, that's like a little high school excuse of like, oh, well, it's not, but it doesn't say it anywhere, I'm going to do it. The admin team does reserve the right to enforce rules that aren't necessarily written, if they are, against, taking advantage of the game or something like that.
Yeah, no, good point. Good point. Matt, what do you got for your 5?
Yeah, so I thought, hey, there's no games, there's no top 5. So I thought, well, we're going into the team draft. We're not going to do a mock draft. We've seen a lot of those. They're always good. But let me just give you my top 5 teams for the cycle. Not the game's out, and I've kind of looked through rosters, just in case someone takes the Seahawks ahead of me. But at number 5, I think this will probably be the most surprising team on the list. I think the rest of the top 5 is pretty much chalk. But at number 5, I have the Houston Texans. Wow. I wouldn't say this is a clear-cut number 5 because, again, I'm sure people get into the nitty-gritty. I call it the diamond in the cheese. They find these really 70 overall guys that are like super athletic and stuff. But from the surface, the Texans they're one of the few teams that has a cycle quarterback, a cycle pass rusher and a cycle corner. They also have a cycle free safety in Petrie. And depending on, they did draft a rookie receiver, which he's 89 speed. So depending on who you are, you may consider that a cycle receiver. But I really like this team. I obviously I think there's good value there, because if you take the Colts, I think they slip. I don't think they get past Damon. I don't think he just went for the division from hell. I don't think he's going to be too concerned about that. At number 4, I've got the Bengals. I went through them because they're actually in my top 5 list I submitted today. But man, this team is good. We all know they have Joe Burrow, who I think has the best abilities in Madden. I said this when Dump had him 2 years ago. Now, set feet lead has gone down a little bit, but it's still a nice ability, especially on Burrow and his 88 throw power or whatever. But all of his abilities are good with Fearless and some other ones that he has. Jamar Chase, just an absolute stud who's going to last you the cycle, 95 speed. T. Higgins on the other side. But it's those rookie or not rookie. I guess Miles Murphy's a year or two old now. But he's going to last you the cycle. I don't remember the guy's name that they drafted, but he's a stud pass rusher as well. They've got 3 corners. Stewart, thank you. They got 3 corners. Cam Taylor-Britt's like 93 speed, he's 25. DJ Turner's 96 speed, he's 24. And then they moved Daxton Hill from safety to corner, which you could take that as a negative, but he's 93 speed, 24. You've got 3 corners, 93 speed or more, one of them being 96, and they're going to be good for the cycle. You can keep them, you can trade one. You got a lot of options there. At number 3, I've got the Ravens. I think the Ravens would be number 1 if we didn't have a rule book, because Lamar Jackson, depending on who gets him, they can do whatever they want. You can snap the ball and hit sprint, and that sucker's gone. You can juke in the backfield now. Lord knows what else you can do. But on top of that, they've got Mark Andrews. They've got Derrick Henry. They draft for Madden. Mike Green, I think, is the guy they drafted. He's a pass rusher, and he's freaky fast, like 88 speed. And they needed an outside. They needed a pass rusher. That's something I needed. Matt Abuke, who is a defensive end but can play defensive tackle, was one of my favorite players last year. He has inside stuff now. He did not have that last cycle. You throw in Roquan. You've got Kyle Hamilton. You've got Nate Wiggins, who's just an athletic freak. You want to talk about athletic freaks. Young corner, tall, fast. The Ravens are there. I got the Lions at number 2. The Lions, there's not much to say. They're really young everywhere. Everyone on that team is young. They don't really, you just need to solve the cap and Jared Goff. Hopefully you can keep Amon-Ra St. Brown. But other than that, they've got McNeil's the defensive tackle. He's young. They drafted a defensive tackle, I think, out of Ohio State. That's hidden dev. You've got what's the pass rusher's name? Hutchinson. You got to find another one, but that's 3 of your 4 defensive linemen already taken care of. They have 2 superstar safeties that are young. The Lions are fantastic. Plus, you got a speed guy in Jamison Williams. At number 1, though, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they're the Lions, but they don't have any weaknesses. I swear, you would think that their GM plays in the SML, because it feels like every year they just draft Madden guys. The Eagles really don't have a weakness, in my opinion. The only thing I could really think of is maybe their offensive line makes too much money and is too good, and you probably need to find a way to get rid of that. But other than that, hey, I mean, they've got it all.
It's a good list.
It's a good list, Matt. That's a good list. That's a good list for someone that has put in 5 hours into Madden. I like it. I respect it.
That's a good list, man. Where do you have the Colts, Matt?
I have the Colts in my bottom. If this was a bottom 5 list, they're probably the bottom 3.
No, that's too generous. That's too harsh on them. They're not that bad.
I mean, the Saints and the Panthers are in a league of their own, and then it's hard there's like a hodgepodge of teams in that next tier. I don't know.
Titans don't have much. Titans are in that list too.
I'll say this, and I'll leave you guys with this. Anybody who takes the Colts this year,
here we go. Blah,
and
blah,
wins,
blah, blah, blah.
And wins with the Colts
blah, 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 blah.
is a true alpha. Anybody who does that, I'll tip my cap to, and should have caps tipped to them. Have a good night, everybody.